We the brand new bosses in the town. Team Snap Gymrat, yeah, baby, we around. We the brand new bosses in the town. Team Snap Gymrat, yeah, baby, we around. I'm snapping, she flexing. I'm snapping, she flexing. I'm snapping, she flexing. I'm snapping, she flexing.
Hey, welcome everybody to Issa Gymrat podcast. Today we have two of the winners of the New Year New Me challenge. First winner, Maul. Runner up, Wayne here. If y'all hadn't seen their results, go on my Instagram page and look at it. They did a great job. Introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Maul, and I'm a barber by trade. Also a barbershop owner for Maximum Level Barbershop on 50th and Westminster in West Philly.
How old are you?
30.
Where you from?
37. I'm from Philadelphia. Mainly been in the West Philadelphia area for the last, 20 or so years. And entrepreneur, family man, just a hood inspired and mentor. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wayne, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Wayne, 31, work for a railroad company, and I'm from right here, Southwest Philly. It's not too much to me. I do videography, photography on the side, and that's pretty much it.
So y'all need your haircut? Boom!
Gotcha.
Y'all need videos, photos, boom. Y'all need to lose weight. So, what made you join the challenge?
Well, what made me join the challenge? I actually joined the challenge because around the time where my first challenge that I joined, I had just came into Gymratz, and I was cutting your hair prior to joining Gymratz. And then, one day I finally came in and started getting my workouts in. And when you did the challenges, I thought that would be a good way, a competitive way to, work out and get in shape. So I actually did the challenge probably about 3 other times, but this is the first time I actually like turned it up and implemented the eating aspect of it and eating right into the
Damn, 3 times?
Yeah.
Damn.
I did it, yep. It was at least 2 other times, so this might have been the 3rd time.
Right.
Yeah.
And Wayne, what made you enter the challenge?
There's a lot of reasons why I entered. Last year I was involved in a train accident at work, so I hurt my back because I worked for pretty much the whole year. Put on a lot of weight, developed some mental issues and stuff like that, and I just I felt the need to get up and get control of my life before it spiraled out of control further than what it was already. And I don't know, it came like a perfect recipe right there. The time that I needed a challenge like that to regain control of my life, it was there. So I had planned this since December. Mm-hmm. So I was already ready to go, and I did it. So here we are.
And when you doing the challenge, what was the experience? What were the challenges? How did it change you?
It definitely changed me. That's for sure. That's the first thing. Well, a lot of challenges mentally was the biggest one. Trying to unwork everything that I've been doing for the past 30 years and try to switch it all up. And especially with the challenge, a short period of time. So short time to try to switch all 30 years of whatever you've been doing up. And, trying to force things like eating. We eat cheesesteaks.
Oh, yeah.
Mozzarella sticks, fried, all that stuff. You eat that on a constant basis, you don't even recognize it until you can't have it anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was craving stuff I wasn't even eating. Mm-hmm. I hadn't had stuff for years, but I was craving it just because I knew I couldn't have it. And also had the physical challenges, man. Simple things like me just doing a squat or jumping rope for 30 seconds to a minute was it showed me how much I wasn't in shape. You know what I mean? And so those were some of the challenges I was faced with the challenge.
And Maul, so you was always a person that worked out.
Yeah.
So physically, you were fine, but mentally, you weren't all the way with it as far as like the eating. Right. So what made you really say, look, I'm gonna do the eating part also along with the workouts? And what were the challenges? Were there any challenges as far as like, you breaking certain habits? Mm-hmm. What were some of your challenges? And what made you go full force when doing the overall healthy lifestyle?
Well, what I want to say first is that one of the things that kept me from eating right was the fact that I always looked pretty decent in my clothes. Mm-hmm. So in my clothes, I could put something on and then, I hear like, hey, what you working out? Because I would work out. My shoulders looking solid, my chest looking pretty decent, you know what I mean? But the reality of it is I wanted my abs. Right. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's where you separate the boys from the men. Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to like truly being involved in, your body and exercise and working out, like your abs is where it's at. That's what shows. And for the first time in a long time, I really was like struggling to get my abs, but it was because of my eating habits. Mm-hmm. And then me and Jay, I don't know if you remember, we had that one conversation where he was like, "Mo, you just gotta do it. Just do it. Like fuck all the excuses. Just you know what I mean, go for it." And I was like, you know what? This is the time. Like I'm going at it and I'm going full throttle. And I realized that I could not. Prior to that, I realized that I could not outwork my diet. Mm-hmm. I could bust my ass and crunches and do all this other stuff.
10 miles.
But at the end of the day, and we have run the whole 9. I was running a mile a day, 3 miles, all that good stuff. But so and I don't even know. I don't know if that comes with age. You know what I mean? And it's like your metabolism is different. Right. Even your lifestyle is different. So I might have played ball and all that a lot more often. And now I'm working. I'm cutting hair, I'm behind a chair, things of that nature. So I said, you know what? Let me just incorporate this eating right, to what I got going on. And ultimately, when I did that, that was like
I seen the difference.
I seen the difference. Yeah. Like when I saw them abs start to kind of like peek their head out a little bit, you know what I mean? I was like,
so how long? When you first did the challenge, how long do you think you noticed like a change? Like a small change, like how, like a week, 2 weeks, how long?
I think once I want to say around the time, one of the challenges too. So I'm gonna incorporate both. I'm gonna incorporate what you just asked me and what one of the other questions you asked. One of the challenges was that I went out of town in the middle of the challenge, and so that happened before. It was like around my birthday, right? And I went out of town. And when you go out of town, you want to drink, you want to eat, you want to have fun, you know what I mean? And it's like, all right, I'll continue it when the weekend is over. Mm-hmm. But this time I took it serious, you know what I mean? I stayed with my eating. I even encouraged everybody around me to kind of get some of the healthy stuff that I was eating, put them on to some things. So that was a challenge when I went out of town. But I could see the change in myself probably around like, I would say probably around like that week 2. Like with 2.5. And again, it's because I already worked out, you know what I mean, a little something. So I was used to saying, myself looking all right. But when I saw when I dug a little deeper and I started seeing, like I said, definition and a little bit of the physical weight dropping, you know what I mean, just looking in the mirror like the eye test, like that was probably around week 2.5, and I felt real good about it.
Yeah, first week, at the end of the first week, I started recognizing just my changes because I think I dropped like 6 pounds in my first week. I took this extremely serious. I was like, I don't think I went to work that week at all because I told you I just wanted to jump right in it. I wanted no interruptions. I knew mentally, in order for me to jump over this hurdle, I had to go right in. So I was taking off and I was getting up and I was working out sometimes twice that week and just changing the eating and 6 pounds first week. You know what I mean? And then the second week is when I don't know, every time I worked out, I always see I see something immediately after I worked out. But this time it was like, it was staying like the eye test you're talking about, it was staying that way, I'm like, all right, hold up. We might be going to something. I always worked out here and there, but I never incorporated the meal plan into it and eating the right foods. So I've always been on, and then I see any progress or any results, so you kind of fade off and that be that and jump back in. But this was like the first time. So it took about a week, and that was just me. You know what I mean? I knew how to do some of the exercises. I did a little more than I was supposed to sometimes. You know what I mean? Did elliptical work and just cardio and other extra exercises just to try to keep. I'm on a different level. I'm not advanced, but I'm not basic. You know what I mean? So I just stepped it up a little bit, and so I got.
So
it's crazy, man. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to get where you at.
No, you know what? It's funny that you said that because when I see you look so much younger than that initial picture.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Everybody say that.
You look like somebody's uncle on the first joint, right?
Jay was like, damn, you're probably not supposed to look like that. I was like, I know.
But I felt the same way.
Yeah.
When I saw my picture, because again, I'm doing push-ups, I see my little chest.
Right.
When I saw the side pic, and I was like, I look like somebody's uncle.
Yeah, man. It's that,
you know what I mean?
Man, that was eating and drinking bad.
Yeah.
My posture, I even noticed my posture has improved since then. Like, you can see it in the pictures, and I feel it, because I'm still dealing with back issues, but it changed a lot. It's crazy. But definitely, you say uncle, I say somebody's grandfather.
Yeah, it's deep though.
Seriously,
right?
Man.
It's like something. It's small, but it's funny because I think that we just, I don't know, just as black people, sometimes we just take for granted. You know what I mean? Just our physical being. Like sometimes you see white people, they just be running. They, old, and it's like a daily thing because they like, look, this body got a time clock on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For us, we just know we're gonna be alright.
You know what? And his lack of education also. That's why I appreciate everything you're doing. I text Nia and I told you I think a lot of people are uneducated on being healthy. Like certain people just think it's just working out. Workout. Just like you were just saying, you've seen results, right? But not the results you've seen now. You've seen those with just working out, but you really got to think about the stuff we're ingesting in our body. You know what I mean? And so I think a lack of education and no knowledge on what we're actually doing to ourselves. People walk around I walk around thinking I'm cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But you have no idea what's going on internally. So I think just more education on the subject of being healthy, eating healthy, and working out. And
I want to add something too, because I know you got some questions and stuff, but it just made me think about it. The other thing that gets us too is culturally in our city, being overweight is accepted.
Yeah.
So for a man to have a gut is cool. It's really, you know what I mean? It's really kind of at times preferred. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you, why do you think that? Why do you think that culturally is accepted? So like say, our race lead the nation in obesity. We lead the nation in childhood obesity. So why do you think that? Why do you think that we just accept everybody to be big, to be fit, to be this, and not just be fit, not just be healthy? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think for where we from in Philly, it's the fact that we have about 6.5. We have at least about 6 cold months. So these are months that you're covering up. These are months that you're putting on coats. These are months that you're putting on sweaters, hoodies, and you eating.
Right.
We got cheesesteaks on every corner.
Right.
You go to any poppy store, you get a dirty cheesesteak. Truth. You know what I mean?
It's the truth.
And with foodies, everybody a foodie. You know where to get the best grilled cheese, whatever you think of. You know, who got the best peanut butter and jelly? You know what I mean? Go down Samson Street. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you in Cali and the sun is out all the time, and everybody, and you don't have any clothes on, nobody want to see that.
That's a good observation right there. So I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
So you saying one of the reasons is climate.
And climate is one reason.
Another reason is the food, the restaurants that we have that's more accessible is the poppy stores, is the corners, the cheesesteak stores or whatever. What do you think? Like why do you think that our race lead the nation in obesity and we're not really health conscious? What's from your experience?
Everybody's just conditioned to the same thing, everybody follows fads and trends and everything, and I think like there's not enough people out there preaching about being healthy, not just being fit and cut up, but being healthy is the leading right back to education. There's not enough education being put out there as to how you should be. So we see everybody around us looking the same. We feel we fall right in line with it. Okay, this person's cool. He walking around, no problem. Not in the hospital. He's okay. I'm okay. I look the same way, and then everybody just like you fall into that state of comfort. You're not recognizing what's like, oh, this ain't. I need to do better than this. You know what I mean? I'm eating cheese sticks every day. Ain't nothing happened to me. I'm breathing right. Different things. So I feel like that's what it is. I'm gonna take everything back to people putting the knowledge out there and people being uneducated about what's going on for real.
Would you, so Mark, would you recommend people doing the challenge?
Yeah, I think, a lot of times, I think we all, want to get off the couch. You know what I mean? I think we all do, but it's like, what is going to be that spark to get me off? So one of the things I tell people is to just buy workout stuff. You know what I mean? Buy some sneaks just for working out. Buy, some tights or whatever workout things you can buy, because then you're gonna want to wear it.
Might encourage
you know what I mean? And so that along with something like a challenge, because I told my man about the challenge. You came at all the fellas. She said the fellas ain't do this, ain't do that. The challenge.
The women killed the challenge. Listen, and we had every single year we had men. They enter the challenge, and I be like, I'm like, we get like a handful of men that actually like do it.
Right.
It's easy, and it's easy to pick. It's always easy to pick the men. Oh yeah, like I don't even have to. But the women, listen, it was so hard.
I saw
it was so hard to pick.
That was a challenge.
Like I only usually pick one. I only usually pick 1 or 2 women. I felt like I had to pick. I wanted to pick 10 of them.
I noticed that too. I did notice.
And it was way more than 10 women that actually like. I'm 30 days. Like look good. Yeah. It was so hard. But the men is like,
right.
All right.
But anyway. I was talking to my homie, because once she said that, now I'm like, oh, you want to take it there?
Yeah, right.
Because I can get the fellas, I can pull a team out now. We can do a 30-day, men versus women joint.
Okay.
So I'm telling the homies about it, and they like, so what is a prize? And I was like, yeah, it's a little money and something at the end, and so that's another motivator too. You know what I mean? So the fact that it's a challenge, period. Had I not. Honestly, like, before I knew who the winner was, I was already content.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was completely content. I was cool. I was good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just seeing, them ads and seeing what I was trying to accomplish, being accomplished, and then having that blueprint that I can continue to grow off of. But it's a great start. And then with the meal plan, and with the exercise plan, I'll pull out my phone and and go through some exercise regimens or whatever at any given time. So I'm locked in with it. So it's well worth it to do the challenge.
Would you recommend it?
Absolutely.
Would you recommend it to people that? What about people that don't exercise, don't know anything, that's not educated? They get on a challenge, would they be able to actually do it and follow through with it?
Yes, because there's different plans. Basic, advanced, more advanced people. Absolutely. I don't care what you're doing. I mean, you have to take control of your life. We have to hold ourselves accountable, and you have to do better. Period. This challenge, and like how you spoke about being content. I mean, I put a post up. When I was like, at this point, I don't even care. It's not about the money for me. It's about really what I want. I want to change my lifestyle, and I want to be healthier, and I want to, get rid of this back pain and all these different things that I have. Man, I got high blood pressure. I just went to the doctors prior to the challenge. They diagnosed me with being pre-diabetic. So, and I was smoking too, man. So, it's like, this challenge was so much more than money. I didn't care whether I was going to win the challenge or not. It was about me changing me to do better for myself. So, and do you remember the post that I put up there? I had, that's when I first started to see my abs. That was probably like a week too. You know, so I was feeling good. One of them workouts that killed me, man. I was like, I was ready, man. Like, I think I hurt my neck. I had like a stinger or something in my neck. I couldn't move my neck for like 2 days, but I felt bad that I couldn't work out those 2 days. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not a feeling that I usually have. You miss a workout, all right, cool. But I wanted to get right into it. So then that's when I knew I was experiencing change mentally, and like that feeling that I got from that moment and every time I worked out is the feeling that I think everybody should have. You know, and people need to get out there and do it. Anybody. Doesn't matter. Kids, all that. My son does it with me now, so you can't tell me that it's too much for any person to do.
And I like what you just said in terms of like you doing it with your sons, with your son now, because now it's like it creates a legacy in your family. So you know sometimes they say diabetes is genetic, hereditary. I don't believe it. I believe your mother's fried chicken recipe was passed down, and that's the hereditization of it. You know what I mean? Your mom made the chicken like your grandma made, your grandma made it like her mom made. So you passing down this diabetes by way of food, right? So your greens, the season, the same, all of that, and then you take your salt and pepper and you add your salt to it. You know what I mean? So those are the things. So while you exercising with your son, now you can pass that down because he's going to exercise with his sons the way he exercises with his dad, and so forth and so on. That's crucial. You know what I mean? That's crucial.
That's crazy because you really are changing the path of everybody to come after you. You know what I mean? That's facts. 100%. 100%.
And that's important. Like it's like your kids they're the same, like you're looking in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So if you eating healthy, you exercising, why wouldn't you want to pass that down to your kids? Why wouldn't you want your kids to grow up and be as healthy as possible?
Damn, man,
be proud of themselves.
No, you hit that on, you nailed that one right there, man. That is definitely, damn, you never think about it like that. I'm not sorry to cut you off, but
no, it's cool.
Nah, seriously, you never think about things like that. Like, damn, it could, we only know what they tell us, you know what I mean? Just think about it, we all eat the same way.
Absolutely. And we all eat the same way that we was taught. My mom made this, but she learned it from somebody else. So when she had kids, she only cooked and had us eat the way she was taught. You know what I'm saying? So now that we know what we should eat, what we shouldn't eat, once I have a child and y'all already have kids, why wouldn't y'all pass that down to your own selves? Like, this is your child. You want your child to outgrow you, to outlive you. You want your child to be secure.
And then you can see him prior to him getting to the point that you have the back pain, and, you know what I mean, the pre-diabetes and all that. You can get ahead of that. And that's the beauty in that. Now it's prevention.
It's prevention, yeah.
That's crazy.
And his taste buds will be different now.
Right.
You know, the taste buds, this is bland. Get that hot sauce, baby. You know, that joint, done.
They won't be, and then they won't be addicted, because sugar is addictive. They won't be addicted to sodas. They won't be addicted to juices. They won't be addicted to sugars. Like, they'll grow up to be, you know, what they're supposed to be.
And that was one of the things that was good for me in the challenge, too, because I have my own business. You know, I play by my own rules. So for me, you know, my family, we have a bar, you know what I mean, lounge on 51st and 5118 Sampson Street.
Check it out.
Cafe. We have great food, by the way. Healthy options.
You deserve a cheat meal too.
So we used to, that's how we socialize. We drink, you know what I mean, we have our fun. And for me, when I'm at my business, I do the same thing with my clients. I drink, and it's times I wake up, I go in early, I might have a drink 6 and 7 in the morning. Because I can do what I want. Right. You know what I mean? There's nobody to tell me not to. Right. So it's times I have to reel myself in. And, you know, in this case, you know, I haven't had a drink since the start of a challenge, not since. And this is, I thought I was going to be bored. I didn't think I was going to have fun on the trip because I'm so used to drinking, having a good time, and you know what I mean. But I had a blast.
Oh, but you didn't drink none.
And I didn't drink anything,
that's good.
Not anything.
The way his head look, he ain't.
And this is just like phase 1. Like we about to go in construction. You know what I mean? Under construction in a little bit for the summer. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. That's really good.
That's what's up, man.
So one question. How this is what I want to know. So we asking 2 males. So I want to know from a male's perspective, how do you like, are you attracted to women, that are more fit, or are you attracted to women that, might be a little bit bigger, not healthy, not like because a lot of women think, this is what I get, I don't want to get too muscular. I don't want my butt, I don't want to get too small. I don't want my butt to be smaller than what it is. I want to keep this big apple shape, especially in the African American community. The white girls, they like, oh, whatever, I'm about to run 10 miles, I don't care. But in our community, it's like, it's accepted to be, overweight. It is accepted to be so-called like thick. And I'm not talking about thick fit. I'm not talking about like Serena Williams. She's thick, but she's fit. I'm not talking about that.
Not that.
I'm talking about healthy, fit. What are men more attracted to? Because it seems like to me like men are attracted to just big butts, big boobs, this, that. Like they're not trying to. They don't really promote the fit look. I want my girlfriend, I want my wife, whatever, to be like healthy. Why do you think that, or why do you think that in our community is more accepted just to be unhealthy?
Well, I think we can almost take this back to like a generational thing. Also, we can almost take it back to the fact that, and I'm gonna generalize. I think black men, we just love our women in different shapes and sizes, right? I think that even with our thick women, thickness is almost like a sense of like comfort. Big Mama was big, right? But she gave the best hugs, didn't she? You know what I mean? Then she get the softest, warmest hugs. You know what I mean? So I think it's not equated to bad health though. I think it's been equated to just a loving figure. But now is with getting fit, and when you're getting fit, it is a thing of health, and you start to think about the health aspect of it, as opposed just the physical outlook of it. So I think your mindset and even how you see women changes when you start to be more in tune with your health.
But why do you? So you, and I'm not saying you. I'm just saying, just this period. So why don't men? To me, why don't some African American men, or the majority, encourage their women to work out or to be more health conscious? Like why?
Mostly because they're not. You know what I mean? They're not health conscious themselves. So how can you preach something to somebody else if that's not what type of time? A lot of people, they don't think about none of that stuff, man. It's just like we are conditioned to be how we are. We are a product of our environment. Unconsciously, we grow up and we are attracted to and addicted to certain things that we don't even know, like sugar, and like all that stuff. Like, and the same thing with women, man. Like we've been conditioned this way to see women how they are, thick and not fit, and these are the things that some men are accepting because that's what they know. It's all they know. I don't think it's like I don't know. You can't speak for every man, but I can't imagine like a guy who's like health conscious and he works out and eats right. I can't imagine them being attracted to a woman who is like the complete opposite, but you never know. Sometimes it's about personality and all that, but I don't know, man. I just think like a lot of times we're just conditioned to what we know already, and that's just what they go off. You know what I mean?
So how can we change it? Like, all right, I'm gonna say this. So if more women were more health conscious, more African American women were more health conscious, didn't care about a gigantic booty, didn't care about this, that. All their number one priority was, listen, I don't care about none of it. I just want to be healthy. Do you think men would like jump on like,
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh no. She working out. Oh, you think them if women just came together, do you think the men would follow, or do you think if the men were like, let's go, we doing this, we doing that, I need you to be healthy, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, I just want our family, our kids, my sister, my mom, I just want us to be healthy, then everybody follow the lead. Because in my opinion, I honestly think that the men are, like I was telling you about, the men are, they're the backbones. Like, when y'all say go, that's like you telling your kids, go. They hear a man's voice, like, let's go. But they hear they might, come on. But y'all step like, yo, you heard me, let's go. The men and the women, the kids will follow the medal. You know what I'm saying? So, do you think if men would take more leadership roles into trying to change our community, change our race into being more healthy, would everybody follow? Or do y'all think it's the opposite? Do y'all think the women, and then once the women get it all damn point, do y'all think the men will follow?
Honestly, I think it'll work both ways. Yeah. I really do. Definitely, like when you put that you use that perspective as far as like the men being dominant and being stern or whatever with the kids and stuff like. Definitely, I think a lot of people will fall into play after if the men step up and do what we got to do. But also, I do know some men who they will follow the lead of a woman. You know how that's like we out here and we not getting no play from nobody, and they they all into fit men and health conscious men, and men will definitely fall. Yeah,
say somebody was interested in, she like you interested in her, but she like, no, you gotta lose a couple, you gotta get it in. I need da. Would you be like, all right, we see him running miles. Would you, you know what I'm saying? Would you change like the way your habits to be with that person, or would you just wouldn't you not care?
I mean, I can't. I'm gonna speak for myself. I don't know if I would do that, for a woman, but I know that I got male friends. I know some men have done crazy things to be with a woman, things that they don't normally do. So I definitely think like, for sure, people will fall into place that following behind a woman's word. I don't think women really understand their strength that they have, and vice versa. That's why I was saying like both ways. I think that together, like if that was to take place, it'd be perfect for everybody. I do.
Yeah, I agree with you with the both ways, because I feel just like you said, just men being the head of the household, have an influence on their women. And just by you taking the lead, you getting off the couch and you eating certain things differently. First of all, if you're in the household and your wife or your fiance or your girlfriend, if y'all live together, and if you are eating differently, if you are eating differently, then everybody pretty much is going to be eating differently. She's not going to just necessarily just get your stuff all the time. At some point, it's going to change the dynamic of the entire refrigerator. And then secondly, if you're not in the household with a woman or whatever, and you are, seeking women, I mean, if women say today or tomorrow, look, you ain't getting none if you ain't got no ass. Jay, I need you to definitely power and is power, you know, from our women and our men, you know, in terms of influence, you know. So, and then sometimes nowadays women can be just, and men too, can be just influenced by other women. You know what I mean? Because there might be certain hairstyles guys is not feeling, but the girls say it's cool, so they wear it. You know what I mean? Exactly. And vice versa. So I think that it's going to take, you know, for all of us to just kind of take some accountability and just step up and, you know what I mean, put it out there, because we dangerous once we get fit, because I'm telling you, and I'm sure you can attest to this, once you get right physically, mentally it does something for you. First of all, the way you look at yourself is different. You on a higher level, you feel like you're a higher being. You know what I mean? And like I said, mentally, the mental clarity that goes into it, some ideas that's been sparking up, you know, a lot of different things like that. I've been working on, you know, on all cylinders. So
that's that feeling I was talking about earlier. I want everybody to feel that feeling. It's true, man. It's like you work out, man. You feel like you can tackle the world. You can do anything. I'm ready to go after I work out, and I work overnight. So when I come in, if I work out like in the morning or whatever, it's hard to get to sleep because I'm on go. I'm ready for whatever. That's that feeling I'm talking about.
And it's crazy that you say that, because I wasn't a person that I didn't grow up, or I wasn't educated about eating. I was always into sports. Never was like severely overweight. But just because you're not a certain weight doesn't mean that you're healthy. Because you can be small and be one of the most unhealthy people in your community, because it's all about what you ate. But once I changed my life and I started, you know, putting better foods in my body, started drinking water, not liquor, not this, not that. When I say mentally, it changed me so much. Like the physical part, that was good, but mentally I was just like, this is crazy. Like my thoughts, everything. I felt like, and I still feel like I can do anything. I can go against anybody. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you a male, you a female. I'm untouchable. Like, and when you start putting better things in your body, that mentally it just changed you, and that's what I want. Like you see how you like, I want people to feel how I feel. Like you like, I can't believe it. That's why I'm like so hard. I'm like, no, just do this. Just change the way you eat, and I promise you, a lot of things around you are going to get better, because when you look better, you feel better, and when you feel better, you do better. And that's what I try to, you know what I'm saying? That's what I try to preach. And how you said, I want everybody to feel how I feel. It's like I'm 37. It's one of the best feelings in the world. I can run, if I wanted to right now, I can go run 10 miles without it. You can get up and go run 10, if you wanted to, go run 10 miles. You could probably get 3 to 5, you probably can. You know what I'm saying? From when you up. But you know how many people that's 20, 21, they can't even run a block? They can't even run a block? You know what I'm saying?
Till I started the challenge, I didn't realize how much shape I was. You know what I mean? Like we got these steps that go over one of the tracks at work. We call it Cardiac Hill. And I was telling you last time I talked to you, I'm like, I noticed like, because these steps is like, they steep, man. Nobody wants to go over them, but it takes your breath away just walking over them. But it was raining. It used to rain before, and I would still just walk up these steps because it's just a lot of steps. But I noticed myself running up these damn steps the other day. You know what I mean? And it's not like, I'm not saying it like, man, this shit go like 10 stories high, nothing like that. It's like, it's just a lot of damn steps to get over these tracks. But like unconsciously, because it was raining, I just did it. I just ran up the steps. And this is something I couldn't do before this challenge. Seriously, I'm not just saying that like trying to egg people on and get them to do it. Like, this is serious. Like, it's just these damn steps would be a challenge in my life every day. Because I'll go over these steps like 4 times, and it's a lot. And I was just, it was raining. I'm talking, it'd be pouring down raining, and I just walk up these damn steps to go to my location. I'd be soaked just because I'm out of shape. But like, I've run over these things now. So what you were saying just now about like, you know, when you feel better, you do better. That resonates right to me. I understand what you're saying when you say that, because this is what it is, you know. I put myself in a better position to tackle regular like goals. Like this, something so small like that is major to me. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of people really understand how much they are not in shape because they might still be skinny. They think they're okay, but I'm trying to tell you, do this challenge. Do this challenge, and you'll see where you're really at. Seriously.
All right, a few more questions. So this is just a quick question to you. So you have a daughter. How do you think how important do you think it is to put your daughter in like physical activities? Because a lot of people, and it's sad, especially in our community, like they don't think that their daughter should be playing sports. They don't think that their daughter should be, running around with the boys. She should be wearing. I mean, they wear dresses, but I'm just saying like tutus and and they be in ballet and all that. Even though that's good, and that's physical, that's being active. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying as far as like basketball, soccer, do you think it's important to put your daughter into those kind of activities? Because when I was growing up, I played basketball, and that kind of saved me. Like that kept me from, away from boys. That kept me from getting pregnant. That kept me off my grades. That kept me from doing, drugs. Like sports really saved my life. And I would see like a lot of my friends, they didn't play no sport. They would be doing this, doing that. But and maybe because their mom or whoever raised them didn't want to put them in something physical because they thought that women or little girls aren't supposed to play sports. They're supposed to just play with dolls or whatever. So do you think it's important to keep your daughters or your women or little girls active in a sport or whatever?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And the crazy part about it is, for one, I'm able to gauge how my children are through sports. So I'm not always there in school with them in front of their teacher, but if I'm at practice and I see how they're responding in practice to their coach, it's the same thing. They're pretty much going to be the same student or athlete in front of their coach as they are in their class. I can equate just about any life lesson to, even with my sons in football, to football. Hard work, commitment, following directions, leadership, just having heart, being aggressive. It's just so many, it's not one lesson I cannot teach from athletics. And so for my daughters, and it's even more special because, for one, a lot of women, this is general, have daughters, right? But their daughters might have had like Olympiad dads. So some of your daughters have these genes, these genetics from awesome men, and if you never put them into athletics and let them push themselves, you'll never be able to get the fullest out of them. You know what I mean? And it regulates so much. It regulates temperament. It regulates, and with women, even some physical attributes and things in terms of like menstruals and things of that nature. Athletics helps to regulate, instead of having to, use different types of hormones and things like that. So I think it's vital for you to have your daughters involved in athletics.
I mean, they're human at the end of the day. There's nothing different. You know what I mean? They're human. They need to be just as healthy. So
I agree.
Definitely, I agree with that too.
What from just you guys? What advice would you give to people that's like struggling as far as mentally getting themselves prepared, or what advice would you give somebody that hasn't taken that step into bettering themselves as far as health and fitness? What advice would you, if they're scared or if they're they don't know what to do? What advice would you give them from your perspective? What would you say to them?
I would tell them to first think about what you want. You know, what is the end result? What is the end goal that you want? And take that and try to use that as motivation to get you up. I mean, it's extremely hard to find that motivation sometimes. You got to dig deep, and especially if you're having mental issues or whatever the case may be, you have to find something, someone, something that's going to motivate you to get up and do what you need to do to change your life.
And Ma, what advice would you give somebody they came to you and they were struggling, like, you know, with their weight, with their health, and they came to you for some advice? What would you say to them?
I would just encourage them. I honestly would encourage them. A lot of times it helps to just, you know, bring them along. You know what I mean? So I would say, you know, get hands on with a friend. You know, if they are struggling with, you know, weight loss or wanting to, you know, get healthy, or you even see them. You know, I had to tell, you know, a friend of mine, I'm like, yo, cuz, it's time. Like, it's time. Like, let's stop rapping and let's just do it. You know what I mean? And, you know, listen, he was like, look, I know. And the crazy part about it is, you know, it helps you when you're going through life struggles. So, and I know, like, we know these things. You know what I mean? The typical, you know what I mean, you know, black life. You know, you got challenges and struggles. So you gotta help your brothers out. You gotta help your sisters out. Like, listen, I know you're going through something, homie. The best thing for you to do, man, is to work out at this point. You know what I mean? You want to be as sharp mentally and physically as you can be while you're going through this challenge. You know, last thing you want to do is just start hitting the bottle all crazy or, you know, going to your vices, because that's ultimately going to lead you down a path that's going to, you know, be destructive. So I would say, you know, it's almost your duty, you know what I mean, to reach out and pull a friend, especially if you already are, you know, if you already are getting your health together. You know, I would say at least make an attempt to pull them in.
Each one teach one. I say just go Gymratz, get them on the line, ASAP. Results.
I want to thank my guests for coming. Maul, winner of the New Year New Me challenge. Y'all ain't see his body look crazy.
I appreciate that.
30 days, runner up. Wayne,
Right.
he did his thing.
Right.
Got put. Yep. And I just want y'all to continue on. You know, don't just do it for the 30 days. It's very, very important for us to just keep going, you know, to better ourselves, not only physically, but also mentally, so we can be here for our kids, so we can be here for our wives, you know, family, everybody. And I want you guys to, like, you know, preach this and try to bring awareness to this, to our community, because it's really, really, really needed. You could change just one person, you know, changing one person's life can change, you know, the world. And if we start with people like you guys, me, you know, even your kids, you know, they teach some of their peers. Listen, you should do this, you should do that. That's the key. Each one teach one. But thank everybody for tuning in to It's a Gymrat podcast, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
New bosses in the town, team snap Gymrat, yeah baby we around. We the brand new bosses in the town, team snap Gymrat, yeah baby we around. I'm snapping, she flexing.